Hit record, Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Mike Russ with Pro Edge Dental Water Labs, and I'm thrilled to be talking to Olivia Wann again. Let's jump right into it. Olivia, tell us what are the most common safety violations that you've seen from your end?
Well, over the 20 years that I've been doing this, probably the most common is the lack of policy and procedure. Dental office might know what they're required to do, but they don't have the written policies and procedures on how those processes take place. So they're missing either training rosters or work exposure control plan, hazard communication plan, safer device evaluations, employee medical records. So that's just a sampling of very common missing items in their program. And we started, actually, when we do our assessment, we started grading them, and we found that at the first visit, the first time that we serve a practice, a common score was in the 40% range. So out of 100, common to hit the 40% range, which is not good. And so we would outline the changes, and we noted that a lot of it was missing policies. Now, when it comes to PPE, and I know that's on everybody's minds, we find that they're not wearing the mask properly, or they're reusing it. Masks are single use, so we cannot use them with more than one patient. A common one would also be that their packaging material is compromised. So the autoclave bags or the paper material, there may be instruments poking through, or they're damaged.
Inspectors will notice these things. And so when you go work with an office, that's one of the things that can lower their initial grade with you, is that you'll notice these things, right? That they'll be.
Well, the interesting thing about it is that when someone comes in to inspect, they may be coming in because of an area that has been complained about, and then they find all these other issues. And it could
Right.
be multiple different bodies. So, for example, the Department of Health or the Board of Dentistry might focus on infection control as it relates to patient safety, whereas OSHA focuses on the employee safety.
Right.
And so I have had experience where the OSHA inspector, she cited for what was in her jurisdiction, but then she turned over to the Department of Health what she felt like were patient safety issues. So it's really important to stay on top of it.
And so you go in there, do your mock inspections,
Mm-hmm.
and the people and your clients are being proactive.
Yes.
They're getting a good score from you, so they don't ever get inspected, so they don't complain, right? That's the
Well,
goal.
I guess they're getting a bad score from me, but that
Right.
helps them to make the changes so that if they are audited, then they will be proactive, like you said, to make those changes. And other things we see missing are spore tests. I mean, spore test results are missing, or they're not doing their water monitoring. And so these are really key components of their quality control program.
Right. And now, of course, during COVID, we're not required to be testing our autoclave every week, are we?
Well, if they're not working, but if they're
Right.
serving patients, I would say that the rules are the
Oh,
same.
that's exactly right. If they've got one op open one day a week for emergency cases, they got a sport test every week still. So that's fascinating. There's a reason for someone to be in the office more than we thought. I forgot about that. That's a good point. And we do know that that's one of the three things that, in the worst case scenario, it's one of the first questions an inspector asks is, show us that log that shows your autoclave has been tested regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is show us your water test records, which is kind of a new one. And then, of course, the other one is your CE, that you're up to date on your CE attendance log. So those are
Yes.
things we've heard about.
Yeah, and with OSHA, they'll ask for that work exposure control plan. They'll look to see that it's updated every year, that your training records are in place for the last 3 years. Same thing with the safer device evaluations. So yeah, there's key things that they will look for. And then they interview employees. And so they'll interview them individually and ask questions. And hopefully the answers are correct.